First one to our left. To our left.
Tony, certainly you were here with Washington State a few years ago.
Yeah.
You got a lot of roots in Charlotte. Talk a little bit about what that means to you, and certainly I guess your wife's from here, and 3 years playing professional basketball before you got into coaching.
Yeah, no, this is a special place. My wife's actually from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but we met here. No, a terrific place, and it's changed so much. I was here 92 to 95, and I just did an interview with Westwood One with Kelly Tripucka, and I missed him by, I think he was there, maybe he left in 90 or 91, and we were just exchanging memories, and we were kind of teasing each other. I said, I can't believe that our numbers aren't retired here. He had a much bigger role than I did, but I've been telling my team and my kids, hey, I saw someone had a 25 Hornets jersey, so I guess it's not, but special time. I did an interview with Tom Sorensen yesterday about the memories of those years playing here, and of course, that was a very unique time, I think, in professional sports. And then my memories of, just for sure meeting my wife here, that's phenomenal for me. It was a great memory, and our time here was special. The people I met, and then, even our Washington State team got here and played Carolina in the Sweet 16, and just the opportunities I've had. And it's such an exciting time of year with this tournament, and we were in this arena. We played Davidson the year before, so certainly know how beautiful it is, and I think it's neat that the Hornets name is back too.
To our right.
Coach, can you update us on Justin's status and how effective do you think he'll play more in this tournament than he did in the ACC tournament, and how is he feeling?
Well, it all depends. He only had 2 days of practice after being off over a month with his hand injury heading into the ACC tournament and the appendectomy. So these practices we had leading up, I think, were valuable from a stamina and conditioning standpoint, and just even a feel standpoint of playing and getting the reps in game or practice-like settings. So again, we'll just see how it goes, and I'm hopeful that he is further along than where he was after those 2 games in the tournament, and keep building on that, because we know obviously what he can do when he's right. I don't know if it's fair to say, oh yeah, he's 100%. He still has to wear the protective things, and some of our reporters has asked me about that. I think he'll still wear the protective splint that he wore, and then just see how he goes, and hopefully he's more comfortable with everything.
To our left, front row.
Doug Dowdy from the Roanoke Times. Could you talk about what you've learned about Belmont since Sunday night?
Yeah. The more you watch them, they're playing really good basketball, obviously, with how many games they've won in a row, and just Coach Bird's experience and their ability to spread the floor. They are one of those teams. I've used the analogy. Notre Dame kind of will play the 4 guards. We played Davidson, who really challenge you. It is a tremendous challenge because of their ability to shoot, and they're sound and tough. You just see it. Well coached. Guys understand how to play, so it certainly puts a premium on our ability to try to bother as many shots as we can, but to be in position, and they rebound well because they have such long shots, and then they're sound and steady defensively. So when you get to this stage, you're going to have to play and play well, and against a team like that every team's dangerous at this point, and we understand that. So the more I watch them, certainly the more respect I have for the job they've done and how they're playing. And they have, Bradshaw is deceptive, how he gets by people. And we know, obviously, about Taylor, but their interior guy can really score Brads. And just an efficient, very good team.
Again, to our left.
Tony, you guys against Coastal Carolina last year kind of came out a little bit tight in that first game of the NCAA tournament. Is there anything that you tell the guys this time around to kind of loosen them up a little?
Yeah, I remember Coastal Carolina, they hit some tough shots, and the ability to just play. There's so many possessions, and it's again, we always talk about trying to win the majority of those the possessions or the percentage of those, but yeah, you got to rely on that experience. You want to be as ready as you can, but in the case of Belmont, they can hit shots with hands in the face, but if we're going to be good, we have to make them hit most of those shots, bothered shots, and just to be steady but ready. And you can't feel your way into everything, but there are going to be ebbs and flows. I think that is you just watch any kinds of games, whether it's the conference tournament or NCAA games, and that part's important. So having that experience, the guys who've been through it will understand that it's just how it is. So we'll hopefully be more ready than we did, and and you're going to have to play it from start to finish. I do know that.
Middle of the room right in front of us.
Viv Bernstein, New York Times. As you know, Coach Bird is head of the Rules Committee, and in the offseason, they're going to talk about ways to try and help the offense with the decline. I'm wondering if that's something you even think about going into a game like this, and if it's something you think about long-term, how it might impact your coaching moving forward.
Yeah, the rules. I was one of the coaches who voted for the 30-second shot clock, which may surprise many people in here, but it's what's best for the game. I've said this so many times. I think one of the strengths of the college game, for those who watch it, is there's different styles, and I think that's the beautiful thing about the game, how you go about it. But I think there always needs to be evaluation of the game and say, all right, where can it improve? And some people will stand on this side of the fence and others, but if the 30-second shot clock, that'll be interesting with the NIT to see the stats on that and how it looks. But I think there'll probably be some good changes made. My hope is that, and but I don't think about that right now. I mean, we just whatever game we got, and we have to play how we have to play.
Front row, far left.
Justin said that you had tried on that splint that he's wearing and kind of tried shooting with it. I mean, how did that feel to you?
Yeah, it was. I just wanted to see it. I actually put it on just to see how it felt, to get an idea. It was, it's interesting. I think I've talked to you guys about this before. Shooting, not so much, because you shoot with the big three, at least that's what I was always taught, and you kind of frame it. A little more of your handles and your catching, because you can't spread that pinky when you buddy tape it and put it on. But I think the more, like your question, the more he gets used to it or practices with it, plays with it, the better you get at adjusting to it. So I didn't notice it too much shooting. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was like without it. It was a little more trying to handle it or catch it. It seemed like it slid out a little bit. So,
Front row.
Doug Dowdy again. Mike Tobey had 11, I believe, against Florida State, did not score against Carolina. How important is it that you take advantage of your size, of the size differential inside?
yeah, well, certainly they have, with their ability to play four guards and spread you out. There's some things there that maybe lean towards an advantage for them. And then you're right, we have to do a good job on the glass, defensively, rebounding, offensively. If there's opportunities to go inside, certainly. So, Mike has got good moves and is a skilled big man that, we hope we can get him some touches when he's in there. And, that goes with all of our guys. But, yeah, he did a good job against Florida State. There weren't as many post moves. They were a little more off some ball screen and slip stuff. But certainly Mike will, there'll be some matchup issues defensively, but offensively he'll have some advantages if he can get deep position.
Second row left.
Richard Walker, Gaston Gazette again. You mentioned that you were in favor of the Hornets name. What was your reaction to that, and how many of those guys do you come in contact with, or do you?
Yeah, I just thought, I have such fond memories of those 3 years when we got to the playoffs, and Alonzo hitting that shot against the Celtics. So it's a great memory for me, so I'm glad that the name is back, and I think it seems like the city kind of rallied around it. And occasionally I'll see those guys, Muggsy or Dell, but not often. We don't keep in touch that much, but those are, like I said, such a special time. And I learned so much from those guys, from that time, that I share a lot with our players. When I talk about Muggsy's heart and Dell's ability to lock in and get in the zone and just use those experiences through Alonzo's competitiveness. I can go down the list to think of some of those, but yeah, it's always good, because when I tell my kids or other people, I used to play for the Charlotte Hornets, they're like, they're not in the NBA. You never played in the NBA, so I had now at least I got some validation that it was a team in the NBA when I was playing.
Far left again.
Tony, Jonathan Jones, Charlotte Observer, another kind of local question. Anthony Gill, who's obviously
Yeah.
from here. When you got him on transfer, what kind of rebounder and defender was he, and what has he become for you guys in these 2 years?
Yeah, well, Anthony was, went to Charlotte Christian, where Akil Mitchell went to, and, well coached. Obviously, the Curry brothers went there, so Sean Brown has done a great job there, and it's such a good school. But Anthony was a great addition for us. He was really an important part of us coming onto the scene and becoming real solid. Him, Anthony, and Malcolm both sat out. Malcolm was injured, so that was his redshirt year. Anthony was obviously the transfer, and I can remember in practices saying, it's going to be nice when these two guys are on the floor and we're going to have them. We thought we had something real good, but Anthony's always been a warrior, very aggressive on the offensive glass, and certainly improved. You know, the coaches put him on the all-defensive team, and he's gotten better and better at that defensively, and he's just improved like most players do because he works at it. He's very driven and very committed to his individual development physically, skill development, and he's really a team guy. That's the one thing about him that you just love. He came in that way, and I'm so glad we have him because I think he's been, as I said, a great addition and one of the better transfers you're going to find.
Take 2 more questions. Middle of the room.
Tony, Mike Barber from Richmond. Is this a team that presents a matchup problem in that you won't be able to post-trap them because they're probably not going to play through the way Duke played through Okafor or that approach?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure their post guy or they list him, I think, even as a guard on the thing I saw, Evan Brad's. But he can score in there. So, I mean, I think at times you have to be ready. It's just that the distances, they don't put 2 guys along the lane. I mean, there's usually 4 around 1, and they're out. And doesn't mean it's impossible, but it'll challenge you if you're going to do that. And again, yeah, it's as I said, it's a difficult team to match up with. I don't care what kind of defensive system you play. When teams shoot that well, and if they get it going, whether you're pressuring or zoning or trying to play position pack defense like us, it presents problems. But again, it's as I said, if we're doing the job, we're going to have to be there bothering as many shots as possible. If they're getting wide open rhythm looks, then you get behind the play. They're so good. I've never seen a team, they'll get into that lane and throw skip passes, and they're flanked wide, and they're well schooled in that regard.
Last question.
Chip Riera, 8 News from Richmond, Virginia. Taylor Barnett on Belmont used to play for you, and it's kind of ironic that he meets you in this game, player that you coached. What's that like for you to face a player that you used to coach? And if you've had a chance to talk to him, what would you tell him? What would you say?
Well, he had a huge reason why they're here. I mean, the shot he hit, even at the game before. Taylor's a good young man, and I'm happy for him. I know he really likes Belmont and the people. His sister still plays at UVA, and it's a fine family. And he's he's done a real good job for him. I was just, as you're asking that, trying to think, have I ever coached against a player either that had transferred? I don't know if I have. I got to go back and what's that? I think so, yeah. And I've had a lot of players transfer too, so I probably should have by now. But yeah, no, I mean, he knows our guys like him, and certainly I know that how he's explosive. He can get that thing going, and he's a lefty, and we'll have to be ready for him. I know he'll be excited. He's a confident young man in the right way, but he's humble too, and it'll be, I'm sure, exciting for everybody.